All right, guys, I know it's dark. This isn't the best lighting conditions, but I was out and this has been on my mind a lot lately. I really wanted to make this video for you guys and let you know some of my thoughts about what's going on right now. I haven't talked too much about the election, but I feel right now that it is time for me to let you guys know. Here's the thing. I'm not an expert, and some of the things I'm going to tell you guys, you could say to me, well, you're just guessing, you could flip a coin and no one knows. But I've been around this stuff long enough, I've studied it long enough, and I think I have enough knowledge and information and experience to tell you some things that I really believe is coming down the pipe and will come down the pipe very soon. I know how this stuff works. I know how it goes. Joe Biden has a past. He had a big hand in the gun ban of 1994 and that crime bill. But let me tell you guys what I think is going on. First of all, Joe Biden has not won the election yet. I know a lot of people already claim that he has. CNN claims that he has. News agencies did not determine who's won the election. The electors don't even vote until the 14th of December. There's lawsuits going on. There's recounts going on. It doesn't look really promising for the Trump side, but we'll have to see what happens. He's still not out of it yet. So until December 14th, Joe Biden has not won anything yet. But let me tell you guys my predictions of what I think will happen if Joe Biden does get into office with Kamala Harris. I feel that right away that they are going to try to do what they call common sense gun law. What politicians try to do is they really want to name things a certain way to try to force you to go along with it. Like, remember the Patriot Act under Bush? That was one of the worst things that was enacted upon the citizens of the United States, the Patriot Act. That was done under President Bush. It took away so many of our freedoms, but it was named the Patriot Act. Sounds like you're really doing something good for the country, right? So Biden would come out with this common sense gun law nonsense, and it would be things such as what they definitely want to wipe out right off the bat is private gun sales. Ever since I've been old enough to purchase a gun, I could meet somebody face to face, as long as they're from my state. At that time, they live in my state. We can trade. I can buy from him. He can buy from me. And the burden falls on the buyer. So if I sell somebody a gun, the burden falls on them to know whether they're legally allowed to own the gun or not. And in some states, it's not like that at all, but there is a lot of free states left. So you wouldn't even be able to give a rifle to your son or to your father or to your brother. Everything would have to be transferred across the board. You'd have to pay a fee. You'd have to do the ATF Form 4473. And it would just be a big hassle. Of course, you know how this goes. So it would cost extra money. So it would be like a tax on selling your property, your privately owned property. But I want to tell you guys, well, first of all, let me back up here for a minute, then I'll get into the meat of this that I really want to tell you guys. It's been on my mind lately, and it's kind of a sad situation, but I gotta tell it, what I think is going to happen. So we really need to win at least one seat in this runoff election in Georgia. Now, can you believe the Dems are openly calling for cheating? They want people from California and other places to move there, and it takes 30 days to become a resident of the state, and they wanted people to flood the city to cheat the system so they could vote for a Dem and get a Dem in office. Some people has done this, has moved there. So it's just going to show about this cheating and voting thing. I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. All this stuff's out in the open now. What's so crazy is all this stuff is out in the open. You know, Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, I'm coming for your AK-47. Yeah, I'm coming for your AR-15. Remember that? But see, the thing is this guy This little sleazebag would even go to anybody's house to get anything. He would send other people to get killed and make a bloodbath in the street. Other people that's out there that would have to confiscate guns would be the ones that don't go home to their children and their wives, while he would sit somewhere guarded. You know, if Beto O'Rourke wants to take my guns or wants to take your guns, let him personally come out and get them. Don't send somebody else. We really need one of the seats in Georgia to keep a majority in the Senate, because the Senate can block most everything that Joe Biden would try to do. Number one, first and foremost, there will be no stacking of the Supreme Court, which stacking doesn't mean adding somebody to replace somebody that died and keeping 9. Stacking means you add more people to the court to switch the balance to where it's liberals versus Democrats. So they would pack the court to make it a liberal majority so that they could use their views and impose their views on the country. Well, without the Senate's approval and the Senate's vote of yes, nobody could be added to the Supreme Court, period. So the Senate is very, very important right now. It's our key. It's our key to keeping Biden in check if he were to become president. Okay, now let's get into the sad and sobering part of this video that, I thought a lot about whether I wanted to delve into this or not. And I kept coming up with the same gut feeling that, yes, I want to delve into this. And my thoughts are, if Biden and Harris become president and vice president, what's going to happen? And maybe not during the lockdowns, because it would be harder for somebody to do this. Maybe after the lockdowns are over, but this is what I believe is going to happen. There's either going to be a high-profile shooting or a mass shooting. And this is going to be somewhere very sensitive, like a school, an amusement park, a mall. It's going to be somewhere that would cause people, citizens, a lot of fear. That's what this stuff is used for, fear-mongering. It'll make you scared to go to the store, because one guy goes in and does something somewhere. It'll make you scared to go to a movie theater, right? It'll make sheep, not us guys, not us gun guys and stuff. You know, we're not going to fall into that trap, but it will make common people fear, and the left-wing media will play into this. But here's what I feel is going to happen. There will be a mass shooting or a high-profile shooting, and the gunman will have either an AR-15 or an AK-47, and he'll have a Glock or a SIG, something, a handgun that holds 17 rounds or in that area. And this is what I believe. Before the bodies are even cold, you understand what I'm telling you? When you go like this and you put your hand on the bodies while they're still warm, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be doing whatever they can to enact gun control laws. And I believe that he will use executive action and an executive order. And what will happen is he is going to ban AR-15s, AK-47s, and any variant thereof. And then he is going to limit all magazine capacities from rifles, shotguns, and handguns to 10 rounds maximum. And I 100% believe that he will use executive action to do this. It just seems funny to me how these mass shootings seem to happen just at the right beneficial time for certain people. Do you remember when President Trump was really gung-ho and everybody was waiting for him to sign the Hearing Protection Act with the silencers, that basically, which this is the way it should be, every silencer suppressor has a serial number on them, And you would be able to go into the gun store and you would use a form 4473 that you use for a gun or a similar form, and you would be able to purchase the suppressor with an instant background check, just like I do a firearm, and you would be able to use that suppressor, you know, whenever you would like. Well, don't you know, just when the talk was really getting strong about this legislation was when the Vegas shooting happened. And guess what? One of the first things that was said about that, and it was said by Hillary Clinton, was she said, now, can you imagine if he was able to use silencers and no one could hear the rounds being shot, where they were coming from, but people were just dropping with holes in them? Which, that never happens anyway. There's always noise, especially when you're using like AR-15s or 308s. There's always noise. It just lessens the sound. It's kind of like a car. It's like saying, if I put a muffler on my truck, would a pedestrian not hear me anymore? Well, absolutely, they're still going to hear me. It just softens the sound. And as a matter of fact, a muffler softens the sound of a car motor way more than a suppressor softens the sound of a rifle. They're so fast, the velocity's so high, that you never can really completely silence that round. I just have a feeling that somehow, some way, there's going to be a mass shooting, and they're going to use this. Unfortunately, there's a saying in politics that goes like this: never let a good tragedy go to waste. That's how we got the Patriot Act after the planes at the World Trade Center. Our freedoms were pulled back. Several levels of our freedoms were pulled back with the Patriot Act. And they do, honestly, never let a tragedy go to waste. Another thing that they want to do that I believe that could have a strong chance to go through is they want to allow people to sue gun manufacturers if somebody does not use their product like they should or uses it improperly, which is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of. If that were the case, then when a drunk driver kills someone, the family would be able to sue Ford and Jack Daniels at the same time. What would happen, guys, the reason they want to let lawsuits go forth to the gun companies if somebody gets killed by a firearm is because companies would get sued and lose so much money that they would have to close their doors. In other words, it's a way to shut down a gun manufacturer through a backdoor method. You cannot hold somebody responsible for misuse of a product. You know, I could take a hammer, or somebody could take a hammer, anyone, from a teenager on up to an older person could take a hammer and go somewhere in a crowd and beat people in the head with a hammer, but you can't go sue Cobalt for making the hammer. It was just that somebody misused that product. Here's some more sobering news, guys. It is going to be years before ammo normalizes. I don't know how much it'll ever come down in price, but we're looking at 4 to 8 years. That's my guess. And the reason I say 4 to 8 years, we're talking if Biden gets in there. It's not, things aren't going to normalize until a Republican gets back into office again. 4 to 8 years is what I would say. Right now, ammo companies are way behind in ammunition manufacturing. They've got orders waiting already. They're running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They can't produce any more than what they're producing right now. It's going to take a year for them to catch up right now. And all of your AR-15 30-round magazines, they're going to be gone. AR-15s are going to be gone. And if you do find AR-15s, they are going to be severely overpriced. Same with ammo. If you find ammo out there, right now I know of stores that's selling target ammo for $39.99 a box. No joke. Luckily, I can still get ammo. For how long? I don't know. I've just been stocking extra ammo when I can. I also believe we are going into another lockdown. I believe that is coming. People's already buying all this toilet paper and water, and stores are running out of toilet paper just because of the fear of people talking about the lockdown. But I believe that the lockdown is coming. See, guys, we're dealing with a situation right now where the government has way too much overreach. Let me tell some of you that are used to this system how it used to be. It used to be that the government was for the people and by the people. The government were the servants. The people were the masters. They wanted to do what they could do to get our vote while they were in office. If they wanted to stay in office, they would do what they could to assure that they would get the vote next time around. But it's kind of switched around to where we, the people, we're the peasants, and the government is our masters. The government's going to mandate us what to do. We should be mandating the government on what is going to happen, on what is going to be done. It never was like this. Somehow, at some point in time, the power flipped. It flipped from the people having the power to the government having the power. We're going to tell you what to do. We're going to tell you what's safe. We're going to tell you what's best for you. We're going to tell you to wear your seatbelt and to wear a helmet. We're going to tell you what we want you to do. It's not going to be up to you anymore. We're going to do all that. I'm telling you guys, big government is a recipe for disaster. So what I'm telling you right now, get ready. Because if Biden takes office, just that fact right there is going to even more make ammo, AR-15s and AR-15 magazines and all those platform of firearms and even your Glock magazines, all that stuff is going to dry up. And it's going to be a long time before it starts hitting the shelves, and hit the shelves at the price that it was before. So you can comment below and tell me how off base I am and how crazy I am and that nothing's going to happen, and you're going to say, well, nothing happened with gun laws with Obama in office. But remember this, Republicans had the Senate when Obama was in office. That's why he was stopped on so many things. If you think that Obama is pro-gun, you're way off base. The only thing that kept all this legislation from coming was that we had the Senate. The Republicans had the Senate when Obama was in office. And we need to do that again. Now let's go back and talk about this for a minute. If Biden were to do an executive order banning AR-15s, banning AK-47s, and it would be all variants and that everything, all variants in rifles like that, and limiting magazines to 10-round capacity, that executive order could be overruled by the Supreme Court if it's deemed unconstitutional. That's the only way an executive order can be overridden, if it's unconstitutional. So that is a plus for us, because the Republicans hold a majority in the court of people that, and it's not just because it's Republicans and they'll vote against Biden. That's not what it is, guys. I'm not trying to play that game of, well, whatever has the most people on their side, that's where the vote goes. The reason that we would overrule an executive order to limit magazines and to ban firearms is because the Republicans in the Supreme Court read the Constitution and the laws as they were written. They interpret it as they were written at the time. Okay? It's not just that, oh, they're Republicans, so they're gonna check the no box against a Democrat. That's not what it is. They are going to, they interpret the Constitution as it was written at the time. And this is what has to be done. And if you read it that way, shall not be infringed. We've been infringed years ago. We've been infringed for years. There's so many infringements right now on gun rights. It's not a thing of like, well, we got all this stuff and it's so great, you know, the AR-15s and the AK-47s and 30-round magazines. No. That's only partial of what we should have. We were infringed years ago, my friends. There's so many infringements on our gun rights. And it says right in the Constitution, shall not be infringed. If you say that I can't have a gun magazine that holds more than 10, you are infringing on my rights. If you tell me what kind of a gun I can protect myself with and my family, you are infringing on my rights. Period. You know, what about the single mother out there? Has kids and has a home. The AR-15 is a lightweight, low recoil, adjustable stock for a smaller stature woman. Easy to shoot. Few guys come to her house for a home invasion. She's got kids. She pulls out the AR-15 knowing she has 30 rounds if she needs it. In a weapon that's low recoil with an adjustable stock to fit her personally. Lightweight, easy to wield. And would easily incapacitate those that would do her and her family harm. Are you going to tell that woman that she doesn't have a choice in how to protect her body and her family? Infringement. It's exactly what it is. It's infringing on people's rights. So guys, we're going to have a lot of different thoughts in the comments below, but I'm telling you that if Biden gets in office, it's going to be a fight. That's all I can say. Hopefully you've stocked up on items before we got to this point, while everything was good and everything was cheap and the ammo was plentiful, and you're prepared for what's ahead. All right, guys, until next time, this is DOF, and I am out.